What it was, it's the buzz. You in here with a whole cane, the dope man's favorite DJ, DJ II D.E.E.P, the voice of H-Time DJs, man. We about to get into these questions on the buzz. Let's do it. So the first one is, how do you decide what record breaks and what doesn't? I really don't decide what record breaks. The people decide. I decide what record has the potential to be able to be broke. So that pretty much answers that question. There's certain music is spiritual and is about feeling, but it's also math and formula. And believe it or not, there definitely is a formula to what songs work in certain areas and in certain ways. And once you know what that formula is, you just look for that formula. But at the end of the day, the DJ don't decide. The DJ just give the song the best opportunity. You decide, the people decide. So let's see what we got right here. What separates a good DJ from a legendary DJ? Legendary DJs take chances. They take chances. Good DJs are technically proficient, but they're not going to risk having a bad reception from the audience. Whereas a person like me, I'm willing to risk that bad reception to introduce your new favorite song. And in most cases, it's the people that are similar to me in that way that end up becoming the people who you talk about 10, 20, 30 years from now. What's something the music industry doesn't tell new artists? That if you don't become, a couple of things actually. One, don't depend on chemicals to create. A lot of people automatically have the mindset of, I need to be high if I'm in the studio, I need to be drunk before I go on stage. And that's how drug addicts are made. Yeah, a lot of your favorite old school artists that you see on Where Are They Now, and they on all several types of drugs, that's how it happened. Somebody came to them and, oh, I'm nervous. Drink this, smoke this, sip this, snout this. And now the music ain't the forefront, the addiction is the forefront. The other thing they don't tell people is you need to become a student of anything that you want to pay you. No matter what it is. It could be underwater basket weaving. If you're not the expert on underwater basket weaving, expect to be paid below what you are expecting to receive or wanting to receive. So I say those two things are primary, but I'm gonna add one more to that. People spend years of their lives saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. And then after they start looking and they're looking when you don't want them to look, you want to say, stop looking at me. But that's not realistic. You spent 10 years saying, look at me. So now when they catch you coming out of the trap house buying cocaine, you say, don't look at me. That's not how it works. Understand that you're asking people to look at you. And once they start, you're not going to be able to tell them when to look at you or how to look at you. So be prepared for that. What makes Houston's music culture special? Me. You'll never meet another me in your life, man. I'm a unicorn with Pegasus wings. But beyond that, what makes Houston music so unique and so special is that out of all of the states and countries that you watch that make music, we have stayed true to who we are more than a lot of other people. You do see influences from other people and other groups in Houston, but still at the same time, when you're in Houston, you know there's nothing like Houston. And when you see something that originated from Houston, you can immediately tell that it came from Houston. And some places are not necessarily like that. They kind of have been made the homogenized view of the planet. They are like how when you watch newscasters, how they have that non-denominational, non-regional speech. They are kind of like that to the world. But with Houston, when something comes from Houston, you know it comes from Houston. And that's one thing that and also too, we tend to hang on more of traditional Bible Belt values, which is why stuff like love and hip hop can't work here. Because the same things you're able to pull off in a place like LA or Atlanta, you can't pull off here because we live by closer to the traditional values that all of us in the South were raised under. What was the first record you ever spun in front of a real crowd? Computer Love, Roger Troutman, and Zap. That was the first. So how I became a DJ was basically I was selling drugs, and I found out real fast that if I kept selling drugs, I was gonna end up in a box I didn't want to be in, whether one made of wood or made out of metal. Either way, I didn't want either one of them. So then my thought was, what else can I do that don't involve punching the clock? And that was DJing. So I started out DJing in a local little hole-in-the-wall spot in my neighborhood, and that was one of the first songs I played because their jukebox broke, so they needed to replace the music. I needed a way to replace selling drugs, so it became, you know, a mutually beneficial situation. Shout out to the Troutman family. What makes a Houston crowd different from anywhere else? Well, one of the things, and I actually talked to somebody about this the other day. So we're gonna compare Austin and Houston, right? Austin is really good at being a fan and support of the art. The problem that you get into sometimes, or you can get into when in Houston, is there's so much talent here. It's deeply dense, extremely dense with talent. You can close your eyes and throw a rock and hit 15 rappers. So the problem with that though is when they see Too Deep on stage, rather than saying Too Deep doing this thing, is I could do that. I could do that better than him. I should be on that stage. So that makes us a hard crowd. But the pro to that is if you can win us, you can win all of Texas. And if you can win us, we are loyal followers. There's rappers that come through our city a lot because they've established themselves in such a way to where they might be able to go to another city once or twice a year. They can come through here 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times a year and still get paid because we rock with them like that. But you gotta break through that ice of we can do that too with us. And we can do that too. What's something about Houston music that outsiders don't understand? Don't come here trying to tell us what the fuck to do. This our shit. This H-time. You know what I'm talking about? So from a DJing perspective, what I mean by that is you'll be in a Houston club and somebody from another region will come and basically try to manipulate you into turning that night into a night geared towards where they're from. So what I mean is, like, if they're from Detroit, they'll come ask for a bunch of Detroit music over and over and over again till next thing you know, you done did 2 hours of Detroit. So a person like me, a person that puts themselves as a guardian of H-Town culture, the voice of H-Town DJs, you got about 2 or 3 of them requests that I'm gonna tell you we in H-Town, bro. And I'm gonna look you dead in your eye like that. So for example, I had a person come to me saying, hey, don't play no Lil Durk because he from this set. I said, bro, we in H-Town. We don't do Chicago politics. You gotta go back to Chicago for that. So let's see. How did you first fall in love with DJing? I'm involved in the entire hip hop culture. I've done everything in hip hop except graffiti. So when I was a kid, I did breakdancing. I've been rhyming since I was 3. I've been writing my own rap since 5, and I've always been a fan of DJing. And one of the things that made me know that I might have the potential to be a DJ long before I decided to take this route is when I would listen to the radio and listen to greats like the OG Walter D do his thing. I could tell what song was getting ready to come in when other people in the car couldn't tell. And that made me know that I had a certain type of ear. And so, yeah, that's where that comes from. Do DJs get enough credit in Houston music culture? Fuck no. Fuck no. Hell no. Why you think I'm the voice of H-Town DJs right now? Because even with greats like Daryl Scott, Wicked Cricket, the OG Ron C, Michael Watts, DJ Screw, and a whole lot of other greats, still to this day, there's this group of people who I call niggas with microphones that are always trying to say what the DJ don't do, what the DJ need to do more of, and what they can't do, and how irrelevant we are. But the fact of the matter is, you ain't never walked in a club and they had TikTok motherfucking playing. Fuck is y'all talking about? You gonna respect the DJ long as I'm a DJ, especially in H-Time. That's on mamas. Or you can go get that motherfucking Bluetooth speaker and handle your business. What motivates you to keep pushing your music forward? Because I got a message the world needs to hear. My job is really to save souls. I'm really a secret agent, like DJing get me in the door. Once I get in the door, then I can pray for you, with you, over you. So in my own personal life, I've saved 22 lives so far, 11 physically, and the other 11 through herbs and through tutelage and through mentorship and stuff like that. I take that more serious even than the DJing. The DJing gets me to that. So you're actually looking at a superhero right now. We just don't all wear capes and shit. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Have you ever had to cut a record mid-set because the crowd wasn't feeling it? All the time. All the time. Actually, when you're playing a song, if you're a good DJ, you already got another song lined up just in case that happens. So if I start playing a certain song and they looking at me like, man, what the fuck is that? And I'm not trying to break that song, I already got something ready for just in case with that. So yeah, that's happened quite a lot. Do you think Houston artists support each other enough? I think we support each other more than people think we support each other. I think we support each other more than a lot of other cities support each other. I think most of the people saying that we don't support each other don't support other artists. That's what's usually going on. Usually you don't show up to nobody's shit. You ain't reposting shit. You ain't sharing shit, but you expecting somebody to do it for you. I get one thing I know about here is if you're doing that, somebody else gonna reciprocate. And it might not be everybody. And guess what? You don't need everybody. You just need the right ones. So for me, for example, when I post a post, I do share for share when I send people in the story. Now everybody don't share, but everybody that does share it, I share some of theirs. And now we got our own little community going on just in the stories. And it's people that's willing to do stuff like that, but you can't be the type of person that's looking for how you can get something out of people and not have to give them nothing. And a lot of people who say that type of shit, that's what they be on. They think that they deserve a cookie because they decide to rap. Like, nigga, it's like I just said, there's a rapper everywhere you look. You're not gonna get no cookie in H-Time. You gotta be able to produce fruit. R.I.P. to OG Wicked Cricket. R.I.P. Michael Watts, but I'm going to this next one. What's the biggest mistake artists make when trying to get their music played? There's a few. It's that mindset that just because I made a song, you're supposed to play me. It's the not understanding that a lot of the dues you're being asked to pay, other people paid before you, and that's how they got to being in the place that you want to be in. They don't know how to approach DJs. You want to come to me at 12 o'clock in the middle of prime time, have a whole conversation and hold my hand and shit like I don't use my ears and my hands to work. That type of stuff. Overall, it kind of all leads back to what I said earlier, which is becoming a student of the thing that you want to pay you. So rather than just thinking, I'm gonna come into business and do what I want to do and it's gonna work out, and if it don't work out, you hating. No, find out what's the practices that work, what's the practices that don't work. One of the things I heard in the past, and I do believe this to be true, is everything you want to do for the most part has been done by somebody and they wrote a book about it. If you read that book, you get to skip a lot of the hurdles. But for some reason, people think that rap means I don't read, and you find out the hard way what happens to people that don't read, regardless of what group or area that you might be in. It could be being a lawyer. If you don't read, you have a problem. A doctor, if you don't read, you're gonna have a problem. This shit is about contracts. You don't read, you're gonna have a problem. If you was one of those kids that get embarrassed to read in class, you may be one of them people that end up on Where Are They Now when you talk about being an artist. This is the last one. We're going to have to wrap this up, man. I got to get back in these streets and keep being a superhero. So I'm on the way to go save somebody else, but I'm going to ask this last question first. Who is on your Houston Mount Rushmore music? That kind of depends on the day, man. It kind of depends on the day. It changes all the time. It depends on what you're talking about, too. I don't know if you're talking about DJing or if you're talking about artists or whatever. But let's say DJs, right? Wicked Creek is gonna be first. Because without him and certain other people, we would all be trail riders right now. All of us would be wearing boots. Because the man literally brought rap in a backpack to Houston in the 70s. I don't care what they told you, that's what the truth is. After that, I would say Daryl Scott. He Screw before Screw. First time I ever heard a song slowed down on a tape was from Daryl Scott. After that, I would say Walter D. I would say Walter D. Walter D was, in my opinion, the first superstar DJ in Houston. He even had his own song being played on the radio, and he's still doing big things in the DJ world right now. Shout out to OG Walter D. I know Mount Rushmore supposed to have 4 people, but it's me, so my Mount Rushmore have as many people as I want to have. So let's see, who else I would say? DJ Chill. DJ Chill was DJ Screw's best friend. And DJ Screw is who Andrew is in the Bible, which is funny because his name is Andrew, but who Andrew is in the Bible, the great connector that helps things be facilitated for greatness, that's what DJ Chill is to DJ Screw. Some of y'all might not even know who Screw is without DJ Chill. But even besides what his influence and his part in the Screwed Up story is, he was a touring DJ with UGK. He housed a lot of your favorite rappers. He even had a whole bunch of people who are prominent in the music here now living at his house, sleeping on his couch. He was part of how Ozone Awards happened here and the whole wave of the Ozone magazines. He was influential in that. He was one of the first DJs that played my music. He's one of my personal OGs. And let me see if I can name one other person right now. I would say DJ Jazzy Red. And the reason why I would say him is because he was a part of that whole wave of Kids Jam, which was the first radio show that was dedicated to rap here in the city. He was a prominent DJ for a long time. He was on 97.9. He had a pirate radio station in Acres Home that I was a part of. That's a fun fact a lot of people don't know. And he was also a music artist. He was the first rapper in the city to have an established record out. So that's part of what makes him. He not talked about enough in Houston. We need to do more Jazzy Red love, man. So that's my Mount Rushmore as it pertains to DJing. Maybe next time we can do rap. So fun fact with me, 2 of the hardest questions for me to answer is what all I have done and what all I'm working on, because I'm always working on a lot of things. So I guess I'll try to do 3. One of them is Shirtless Summer 26. It is an initiative to get Black men specifically, and especially in the industry, healthy and happy. So it's a workout regimen challenge that we're gonna be doing from April 1st all the way to September 15th. So whether you've never done a push-up in your life or you're doing your first push-up, come holler at me if you wanna be involved in it. Beyond that, we just did the release for The Streets Is Mine, my brother DJ Young Sam. We're getting on the platform soon, so look out for that on the platform coming to you soon. Also too, I'm a part of bringing the wave of line dancing to the city. I know that line dance has been established for years on years, but we're taking it to another phase. So be on the lookout for things happening in the line dance space involving your boy DJ II D.E.E.P. Trying to think. Oh, New Music Mondays. I am the VP of Coalition DJs in Houston, and once a month we do an event called New Music Mondays. So despite everything you might have heard from niggas with microphones, there are DJs in the city that are actually still trying to break records, and Coalition DJs happen to have some of those DJs, quite a few of those DJs actually. Once a month, one Monday every month we do it, and this Monday coming is dedicated to all of the OGs from the Swisher House. RIP to the OG Michael Watts. They're gonna be there live. There's gonna be an interview segment, and then they're gonna perform one of their old school freestyles, and they're gonna perform the shit they got that's coming out now. So y'all come through for that. Holler at me about a shirt this summer. And until then, get into the greatness, staying away from the fakeness. Y'all be praised indeed. Hold up.